Oh my god, guys, I am so excited for this review because I am reviewing a movie that I have been looking forward to for such a long time. And today I'm reviewing The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, and I have waited so long for this movie. I am such a big fan of this franchise and all the books and everything. I, of course, have read all the books. You can't have not read all the books. They are really good. If you haven't read the books, turn the review off and go read them right now, because you need to read them, because they're really good. Okay, but anyway, let's get started talking about this movie. Okay, so basically, usually I start things by saying what I thought about the movie. Can you tell I'm excited? But usually I start by telling you about what I thought about the movie. Now this is a good movie. I really liked it. It was really good. Now compared to its the original movie, just the first installment, that was a pretty good movie, but this is about, it's at least, if it was getting a grade, it would be at least a letter grade higher. At least. It was so much better, so much more creative, so much more well done, well put together. It was great. And so yeah, background on the movie. I didn't even tell anything about it. Yeah, because I'm so excited. So yeah, basically it's the second book of the Hunger Games. I have it right here. There you go. It's that book made into a movie, and I absolutely loved this book. I loved it so much. I like all three of them. But yeah, it's the second installment of the Hunger Games trilogy. There's going to be 3 of them, and the last one's going to be split into 2 movies, which is stupid. But yeah. And it's after the original Hunger Games has ended. The main characters, Katniss and Peeta, and Katniss is played by Jennifer Lawrence, and she's the main character, and then Peeta is Josh Hutcherson. And they have left the first Hunger Games. They won them with the berries and all that. And now this is basically about what happens next. The revolution that starts forming and what happens afterwards. Now, basically I'll talk about the plot first. This didn't have any plot holes. There aren't really any plot holes, I thought of. No major ones anyway. They did not really, and I don't usually do movie reviews I haven't done one yet of one that's based off of a book. But this is very similar to the book. The first one, they left so many things out, and it made me really mad sometimes. Like, I don't know if any of you remember in the first one, that part with the dogs. That was done completely wrong. You idiots, you did it wrong. But, yeah. So, there's nothing major like that left out of this movie that was in the book. Like, all of the major parts you liked in the book, you're going to see in this movie. And that's why I liked it so much. There was nothing that, like, of course there's some trailing things that they didn't include in the first book that continued on in the second book that they couldn't include now, because they didn't include it in the first movie. That was kind of annoying, but that's not this movie's fault. That's the first movie's fault. But there was nothing left out, and I felt like everything was there. Like, I kept saying, oh yeah, that was in the book. Yeah, that's perfectly placed. It was great, and they fixed some things, too, since the first book. Like, for example, I don't know if, in the first book, the Peacekeepers, they were wearing, like, bike helmets, and they looked like noobs. But now they've got on, like, these face shields, and they've got armor, they ride around in these trucks, they've got guns. They're way cooler and way more menacing, they're way more evil. The things that the Capitol does, makes you hate them more. They're way more, it's way more dramatic, way more creative, just way more well orchestrated, basically. So yeah, plot is good. There's nothing major missing from the book. Of course, there's some tiny things that would have made this movie much better that just didn't happen. Like, I don't know if it's not really a spoiler if you read the book. There's a part where she's first meeting Plutarch Heavensby, and he gives her a hint that he's on their side with his watch there. That wasn't in the movie. That's kind of a spoiler, sorry. But yeah, and that's something little. I was like, oh yeah, that should have been in there. But that's no big deal compared to the full scope of this movie. It's just, there's nothing major, like the thing with the dogs I was saying about, that's a major part of that first book, and that was left out. And that's, there's nothing major like that left out of this second movie, sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, the only thing I complained about was that they didn't have the Avoxes in it. And that wasn't this second movie's fault, like I was saying before. This was something that wasn't put into the first movie, that continued into the second movie. So that wasn't in it at all. That's kind of important. But no major complaints about this. Plot is good. Pretty much everything from the book is perfect. I approve. Yeah, so there you go. Plot, good. No plot holes, perfectly to the book, almost perfect. Nothing major missing. So fans of the books will enjoy it. And I'd like to talk about the actor choice. Now, like I said, two main people, Jennifer Lawrence, she's Katniss Everdeen, and then Josh Hutcherson, he's Peeta Mellark. Those are the two major people in the movie, really. And then there's those. Oh, I'll talk about them first. Well, I usually like Jennifer Lawrence in pretty much everything she's in. She's very good. That was not one of my complaints about the first movie. The people they chose for these movies are fantastic for their parts. I always enjoy Jennifer Lawrence and whatever she's in, pretty much. And same for Josh Hutcherson. I haven't really seen too much with either of them, though. Besides this, I think I've seen one. I've seen some more of Josh Hutcherson because he's been in a lot of stuff, but I haven't seen too much with Jennifer Lawrence in it. But I like her in these movies. I think she's perfect for the role. She's a very good actress. And Josh Hutcherson's also a very good actor. So, yeah, I like both of them. They're very good for their parts. And for the other actors, the only other main ones were, let's see, who else have a major influence? So, Haymitch, this guy, I can't remember his name. I know he was in, I think, Cheers. That could be, somebody told me that. One of my parents said, oh, yeah, he was in Cheers. And I find that ironic because of his role in the book. It's kind of funny, considering he's a kind of a drunk in the movie, and it's in Cheers, it takes place in a bar. But anyway, yeah, he's perfect for the role. He's funny. You like him. He says he just seems like the guy, the Haymitch you knew in the books. So he's perfect. I like the guy who played him. I don't know his name. I'm sorry. You can go look him up, but he's a good actor. I like him a lot. The only really actor I had a complaint about was, he wasn't bad, but Plutarch Heavensby's actor, he's also a famous guy. I can't remember his name. Probably should have looked that up. But yet, he's a good actor. He's not like just a blubbering idiot or anything. He's good, but just the way he played Plutarch's part, and that's more the director's fault than his fault, is that Plutarch Heavensby is supposed to be kind of a funny, casual guy, and he was such a serious man in this movie. In the book, he's a funny guy. I loved this guy in the book. He was hilarious. He was awesome. But yet, he's not awful in the movie. He's just not what he was in the books. And that kind of made me a little annoyed. But other than that, yeah. And also, the only other really main influential person who I didn't have any... just President Snow. He's very well done. I had no problem with him in the first movie either. He's perfect for the book. I like that actor a lot. He was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers and stuff. That's a good movie. Yeah, he's perfect for the role. I can't remember his name either. I'm good at this, huh? Yeah, but he's really good. I really enjoyed him in the movie. He's evil seeming, and you just don't like him. But he's perfect for the role. So yeah, he was very good too. And then there's really nobody else. I mean, Effie Trinket is played by, I think it's Elizabeth Banks. I could get that wrong. I can't even tell who the actress is because she's got so weird looking in the movie. But yeah, she's perfect for the role too. She's very, as I imagined her, just really silly and weird. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anyone. Oh, well, I should probably talk about the tributes too, the other ones, like Joanna and Finnick. They were perfect too. Finnick is just as I imagined him. He's the casual, funny guy he was supposed to be in the book, and he was like this in the movie. His actor is perfect. He's a very good actor. I thought he was very well done. And then there's, the really other major one was, oh no, well there's also Beetee, and I'll get to him in a minute. There's so many people in this movie, I can't ever remember all of them, I'm sorry. But, there's, Joanna was absolutely perfect for her role. She was, in the book, she was this crazy weirdo. And this is what she was in the movie, like this, she's just such a weird person, and does so many weird things, like, I don't know, just, she's perfect for her role, just this crazy, girl who's just nuts, and she played this role perfectly, whoever the actress is. I know she's probably somebody else famous, but I don't know, okay? I don't keep up with these kind of things. But yeah, Joanna was done very well, and then there's Beetee. He's one of my favorite characters from this whole book, from all three of the books, and he was done really well. I just thought he was just as awesome as I thought he was in the books. He was just exactly as I imagined him, this geeky guy who knows everything about all these technologies, and he was awesome. I really liked how he was portrayed, and he was, yeah, they didn't leave anything out with him. They didn't leave anything out with any of these characters, really. Nothing major. So yeah, all of these actors, except really Plutarch, who was still a good actor, but he just wasn't portrayed correctly, I enjoyed all of them, pretty much. So yeah, thumbs up for actor choice, except for Plutarch. And what's next? It would be, special effects and stoofs. Special effects and set design and stuff. Now, for the special effects, this is a movie that involves special effects. The number one thing I want to talk about is, yay! You guys finally got the hovercrafts right! Yay! Let's take a look at that. Yay! Yay! I don't know if any of you remember the hovercrafts in the first book. I mean, the first movie. They weren't up to the standard I imagined. I know you guys know I'm obsessed with planes and everything that flies, and it took so much mental power for me to imagine what they looked like and how they would work when I was reading these books. And then they came out with this movie, and the hovercrafts looked so stupid. They just didn't barely even show them. And now they've got these awesome things in this movie. They're like these huge, modern-looking bosses. They're just so cool, and they're really cool. I really liked them a lot. That's not anything too major. I just wanted to throw that in there. So yeah, I approve. You got the hovercrafts right. So, good job on that. And that was part of special effects. They needed special effects for that. They looked awesome. Yeah, okay, so stop talking about hovercrafts. So yeah. And also the cornucopia, that was something I approved of in the first movie too. I mean, it wasn't exactly true to the book. It's supposed to be a big gold thing, I believe, always in the book. I read the book a couple of years ago. I can't remember if in this, in the second one here, if it's still like a big gold thing, but it wasn't a gold thing in this movie. But it looked so cool that I could get over that. It's this modern art. It's like a modern art piece. It's so interesting how this thing looks. So yeah, that was very cool. I'm sure that they built that in the first movie. So I'm sure that it looked even cool. It looked awesome in the first movie, but it looked way cooler in the second movie. So yeah, I approved of that. That was the cornucopia. Was a very good piece of set design. I'm sure they really built that. I know they really built that in the first one. Yeah, good job with that. And the more special effects are set. Yeah, just the whole arena looked the jungle arena that they went into, that looked really cool. I figured out that was filmed in Hawaii, and just the whole clock piece of it, and how as special effects the monkeys, they were terrifying. That was just as I imagined it too. And the fog, that was pretty awesome. That was terrifying, but that was awesome. That was it was supposed to be scary, and that was something that, after I read it, I was like, holy, whoa, that was really creepy. Yeah, that part was very well done, with like the boils and stuff. Oh, that were getting onto him. That was creepy, and it was just, that part was really a well orchestrated part of the movie. It was just like the book, and just as I imagined it. So, yeah, the whole clock looked awesome, basically, and everything. The spinning with the cornucopia, that part was really well done. That was pretty awesome. What else? The Capitol looked awesome. District 12 looked way, way better. It looked pretty lame in the first one, I'm not gonna lie. But in this movie, they had like this giant, all this industrial stuff everywhere. It looked way better. And yeah, it was just, overall, District 12 looked much better. We didn't see too much of District 13. I was hoping I would see at least a little peek at that, because District 13 is pretty awesome. I want to know how they would make it look. But I guess we'll have to wait until next November to see that. But yeah, overall, anything else to talk about? No, I don't think so. Special effects were great. Set was great. Everything has improved. Everything has improved on looks since the first movie, pretty much. Like the fire effects in the first movie, that's one more thing I need to talk about. I don't know if you remember those on like their clothes and stuff when they're like in those chariots. Those fire effects were so cheap and they sucked. But yeah, that was much better in this movie. They fixed that. I heard that this movie actually got over twice the budget of the first one. That could be wrong, but it had a significant budget increase, and so they had much more to work with, and I'm glad that they had that much more to work with. It's because special effects and set design and just how everything looked in general has improved, definitely, and I really, really liked it. So, there you go. And last thing, music and sound design. Now, the music to these movies, it has improved since the first movie. The first movie's music was pretty generic and nothing special. And for the second movie, it has improved. I'll give it that. It's a little better. But it's still pretty generic and nothing special. I did enjoy it. I hate to say this, but it was probably some of the better music I've heard this year, because I haven't heard any good music in a movie this year at all whatsoever. So, it was probably some of the better music I've heard. I did enjoy it. I liked it. But it's pretty generic to a movie like this. It helped the movie along. The movie wouldn't have been the same without music, of course. But, yeah, music was meh. I did not like it. I liked it more than Gravity's music, or Captain Phillips's music, or All Is Lost's music. It was definitely more money put into the music this time. It was slightly better. I think it was probably the same composer. I could be wrong. I haven't checked. Yell at me if I get these things wrong. Feel free to yell at me in the comments. But overall, music was better. Sound design, the whole movie sounds pretty cool. There is sound, like the sounds of things sounded pretty cool. I didn't really pay much attention to it because it's a fast-paced movie. But yeah, sound is pretty cool. I enjoyed that. So yeah, music was okay. It was better than most things I've seen this year. And sound was good too. I liked all the sounds in the arena, like the ambient jungle sounds. That was cool. And all just the fighting sounds and sounds of just everything was kind of neat. It wouldn't have been the same without the sound, basically. Yeah. So, that's my review. I think I went over everything. Plot, special effects, set design, characters, music. Yeah, it's everything. Yell at me if I forgot something. Feel free to yell at me in the comments if I get things wrong, because I know I'm getting some stuff wrong. But that's my review of The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. So, what can I give this movie? I don't know what to give it. Now, this was so much better than the first one. But still, I've given so many things 9 out of 10s this year. Everything has been 9 out of 10, I think, that I've reviewed so far. So, I'm going to give it, just because it's not nearly as much of a spectacle as Gravity, or not nearly as much of an important movie as Captain Phillips, which got a 9. But I love this franchise, so I'm gonna give it a. I was about to say 10, but no. I'm gonna give it a 8.5. There you go. 8.5. So yeah, that's pretty good for this kind of movie. I love this franchise. I cannot wait for the next one. I was telling people, for the first movie, it wasn't that good, so I could live with waiting for the next one. But now I can't live with waiting for the next one because it was a good movie. I want more. I want more. All right. Well, gotta wait until November 21st. I can do it. I probably can't. But that's it. 8.5 out of 10 for this movie. And I normally would not say it's a must-see, but it is. For fans, anyway, it is a must-see. I can understand why people who have not read the books would not really like it as much. But this is a must-see for fans. And even for not fans, if you've seen the first movie, you should watch this movie. Even watch it by itself, it's a great movie. It's such a good movie for this kind of franchise. I would love to give it a higher score, but it just seems like an 8.5 suits it to me because of the music and some of the leaving stuff out of the small things left out of the book and stuff. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, but it is a must-see, at least for fans. You have to see it. It's no question. And for non-fans, read the books. You have to. They're amazing. Some of my favorite pieces of literature. So, there you go. The movie of this. Hunger Games, Catching Fire. Until the 8.5 out of 10. Until the next unpopular review, I'll see you next time. And I don't know how I'm going to make it till November 21st, 2014. Alright, but yeah, great movie. Get off my laptop. Bye. Ah! Alright, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. You're gonna feel it. Go!